Hi guys, Christine Mann here. So we're gonna try and do another do-it-yourself stuffing recipe. So today I have gotten most of it ready. So this will be a pretty quick tutorial. Hopefully it'll take only about 5 minutes. So I am gonna put you over here. So what I have together with, oh, I'm so bad at this. Okay, so here is what I have. So I've already cut the onions because otherwise you'd be watching me cry my eyes out because I get really weepy. Okay, so we've got lots. I got a whole head of celery. It's one of those long ones. So there's like a lot of celery here, a lot of 2 large onions. I make a big thing of it. So, and I am allergic to dairy, so I'm using margarine. But if you can have butter, oh my gosh, butter is so much better. So I'm going to put you on here, and hopefully you'll be able to watch as yes, you can see. Yay! Okay, so I put a whole block of butter in, so I'm just going to kind of dump in some of my margarine here and get started melting that. And once that is good and melted, which does not take long, you just add in your vegetables and you just start, it's just basically about letting everything cook for a minute. So I do not make things complicated. I know a lot of people are so much fancier at making these things than I am, but I like things to be as easy and simple as possible and still be yummy. So this does have bread in it, but you can make it with cauliflower, where you basically just substitute some chopped up cauliflower for your bread. So as you can see, I do like half vegetables, half bread to start with, just because I like the flavor. So you're going to cook these vegetables just for a few minutes until they start to look a little bit soft, which doesn't take long if you leave it on high. So I usually just eyeball it, but if you've got a block of butter, like what I would use is the entire thing. So it is not low in fat. If you're looking for low fat, you're come to the wrong place, because this stuff is just all yumminess, which doesn't usually mean low fat. Okay, so next I'm going to start adding in my spices. Now I'm going to put in some diced green chilies and some mushrooms as well, just because, well, the more vegetables the better, right? It's healthier. Now the poultry seasoning, I usually just eyeball it as well. So I just make it, it's probably a good 1/4 cup for this recipe, because it's like tons of, I make a giant one so I can have leftovers like 4 times. I don't know if you're following my recipes at all, but I do everything in giant batches so that I only have to cook it once, and then I can have it for leftovers for many times. So that's super easy so far. So probably a tablespoon of salt, probably. My mom gave me this recipe, and that's what she did. She just told me, she gave me the list: celery, onions, salt, poultry seasoning. I was like, but how much? And you just kind of play around with it, whatever you like. I like mine really strong, so I like my stuffing to have a lot of spices. But not everybody likes that. If you prefer it to be more of a mild, bready flavor, then just use less of the spices. But I know a lot of people that only use poultry seasoning, and they don't even use the thyme. Now the reason I started using, this is hard, I bet I can do it easier this way. So the reason I started using poultry seasoning, thyme, is because when we were in Africa, we didn't have any poultry seasoning. And so I started rummaging through what was in poultry seasoning, and thyme is one of the biggest spices. And so I just used thyme. I didn't even use poultry seasoning. That's all we used was thyme, and it was delicious. I mean, we were in Africa, so you're not very picky. But it was so good. We had like this awesome meal. All of us single missionaries got together so we weren't alone on Christmas. And that was really fun. Okay, I'm going to put some of these other products in here. And you can watch that cook for a minute. Okay, so part of what makes homemade stuffing better than store-bought stuffing is that you get to make it as moist or as dry as you like. And of course, the butter. The butter makes it taste so good. I would totally use butter if I could. Maybe next year. Maybe next year I won't have allergies to dairy and I'll be able to use butter again, because I love butter. I love all of my dairy products. It's only been the last year I haven't been able to have them, so. Anyways, these vegetables are almost done. You don't want them to be a pile of mush, but you do want them to be tender. So I don't know if you use green chilies. My mom uses just raw peppers that she chops up, but I don't prefer the flavor. I like chilies. They're so yummy. Okay, so you can see the vegetables start to, oh my gosh, we're going to do this again. Okay, the vegetables start to change color. You can see that. So they're kind of getting a little bit of a darker color to them, and the onions are getting more translucent, and that means that they're just about done. Part of the cooking process is when you stick it in the turkey too, so you don't want it to be completely done at this point. So now I have homemade chicken stock or turkey stock from last year that I use, and I dump that in there. Okay, and add a little bit of water if need be, and then I add in my bread. And then you just have to super carefully stir it, because as you're going to see, it's a mountain. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so these ones are long, but if you get the cube ones, they're easier to stir. I usually stir in a whole bag into this recipe. I have done it where I've divided it into 2 pans, which it looks like I'm probably going to need to do here. But then you just stir it in there and let it moisten up. And oh, yummy. I'm going to want to eat this for supper. And this is for Christmas. So what I do is I make it ahead, and I stick it in a big container, and I freeze it. And then I'm going to make probably the cranberry sauce. I'll probably do the cranberry sauce tomorrow and freeze it so that I don't have to do it all on Christmas Day. Even though it's just Tim and I, we decided to do something nice because Tim loves this kind of food. Of course, who doesn't? So as you can see, it's cooking down already, so it's getting smaller. And you just keep adding your bread until it's all mixed in there. And that is it. That's all it takes. It's not that hard, hey? So, let me know if you guys do homemade stuffing from scratch, or if you buy the store-bought boxed kind. This really isn't that much work. Once you cut up your vegetables and toss everything in, you're good to go. So, leave me a message if you want the recipe. I can write out some more specific amounts. I have a general idea of how much stuff goes in there. And I hope you guys have fun cooking for Christmas this year. I will talk to you tomorrow.